Welcome to the Wellness Project, where real conversations meet mental wellness. I'm Wilson, your host, here to explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to personal growth, resiliency, and well-being. This podcast is all about breaking the stigma, sharing insights, and giving you practical tools to navigate life with more clarity and confidence. No fluff, no cliches, just honest, meaningful discussions that matter. So, wherever you are, take a breath, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Welcome to the Wellness Project. And welcome back, everyone. Today, we are honored to have Allie with us once again, a true expert in mindful leadership. Allie has a gift for blending presence, purpose, and mental wellness to help individuals lead with clarity and compassion. Last time, she left us with powerful insights on self-awareness and intentional leadership. And today, she's diving even deeper into meditation and mental well-being. So get ready for another transformative conversation. Allie, thank you so much for coming back.
Well, thank you, Wilson. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh,
Thank you.
what was that?
Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. Absolutely. So, well, let's get started.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think in meditation, we're diving inside rather than looking outside.
Sure.
And we're very often looking to answer some things in terms of what our heart is telling us, or really to synchronize our brain in our head with the brain in our heart and the brain in our gut.
Yeah. I'm really starting, I think, to kind of transform the way that I think about meditation as balance.
Very good. Absolutely. Yep. That is absolutely right. So it makes sense if we're going to talk about meditation to say, well, why do people meditate?
Yeah.
What are they really looking for? And there are really four basic reasons, in my experience, that people meditate. One is to heal, and that probably is the first place people very often come to meditation. So maybe
Sure.
they're looking to heal something in themselves, something that they're dealing with. Maybe it is everyday stress. Maybe it's anxiety. Maybe it's ruminating thoughts, that loop in your head that just keeps coming back. Maybe it is you're stuck. Maybe it is you're in the past dealing with regrets. Or maybe in your head, you're in the future and you're worrying about the future. Or maybe you have some self-doubts.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons, very, very common, and I think we all deal with something.
Oh, yeah. Well, I imagine we're sort of going through the process of healing throughout our entire life. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about meditation is that as you grow, your meditation practice can grow.
Oh, I sure hope so.
Yeah, right. So that's really one of the first reason, and a very common reason people say, have a meditation practice and continue a meditation practice. Another reason is to create. So there's a very creative side to meditation. Maybe you are looking to create more abundance in your life, or understand what abundance really means in a holistic sense. Maybe you're looking to create a new business. Maybe you want to visualize
Sure.
the perfect vacation or some dream trip that you have.
Yeah, sort of like a visual dream board, but in your mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some people gravitate to vision boards, and that's a wonderful thing. I just tend to like to do visualization in my mind. I love imagination.
Me too. No, absolutely. And it's like, I love the idea of starting with an idea to then move that idea forward. Like, does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And part of the visualization or part of the creation is, are you ready to create the new me? Okay. Or are you thinking about changing careers? Are you thinking about changing your location? So when we think about meditating to create something, it may be what are the next steps in the journey, as you said.
Yeah, like I think it's the model of change, or the stages of change. It's the pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. Or something close to that effect. But the contemplation side is where you can do that in your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm. And then that contemplation, it always leads to action.
And fruition.
Yes, yes. And sometimes, though, it's very important, particularly in visualization, is that we just put the idea out there and we see what happens.
Yeah.
We let go of the outcome
Mm-hmm.
because we are in control of our next step, but we're not in control of what the outcome of those next steps are.
Yes. Yeah. We're what's sort of like the big like, how does that go? It's like equality under opportunity, not outcome, or something along that. It's this. It's sort of like a catchphrase now, I think, where people are wanting the same outcome, and you don't really get that in life. It's equal opportunity, but not equal outcome.
Correct. Yes.
Right?
Now I get you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
In fact, we're never in control of the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
We are in control of our thoughts. We are really in control of our emotions, but we're in control of our action, but we're not in control of the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. I've mentioned this kind of a couple times on the podcast. I know, when it comes to anxiety and just, nature and the external world of like, you can't control whether or not it rains outside. That's completely out of our control. And rather than sort of perceiving that as being helpless or out of control, you can decide if you want to go outside. You can decide if you wear a raincoat. You can decide if you wear or take an umbrella. There is a sense of control that you can have in an uncontrollable world.
Yes.
And not to segue perfectly into this, but meditation is probably one of those ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So as we kind of continue to explore the why, we've talked about to heal, to create, and the next one is to discover.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And some of the great questions that have been around literally for centuries. Who am I? Right? The Oracle of Delphi, right?
Right.
In ancient Greece. Or who are you? Right? Who are we? What are we going to do together?
Yeah.
That's the whole teamwork kind of thing. So it's all getting past the labels. Not who am I, name, rank, and serial number. It's who am I at my essence, at my core. So there's a lot of a deep dive into what really are your values. What do you live your life with? And a lot of times we see if people are not in a job that is in sync with their values, there's a lot of stress that comes from that.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's sort of like phoniness or disingenuous, that comes with that. I know as a therapist too, it definitely comes up more often than what one might believe of, people really taking to heart and believing what others have planted in them or told them that they are,
Right.
and I'm not saying in like a really supportive, positive way. So often I think as we transition into adulthood, we carry a lot of maybe misperceptions about ourselves.
I agree with that. And a lot of times I joke within my group of friends, we went to school to learn. And in meditation, very often what we're doing is actually unlearning.
Yeah. No. I would agree. I think even for beginning therapists, they come well prepared with like the book smarts and the academia, but then we have maybe not unlearn, but we have to get back to being authentic. And I just call it doing the human thing.
doing the human thing that's inside of you.
Yeah. Because like your clients will be able to read through that. Like you can't read a script when you're doing therapy. It's just, I don't know.
It's all about connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people can tell if you're really connecting from who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the phrase, when somebody's comfortable in their own skin,
Mm-hmm.
you just know it and you feel it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. It is. And as you said before, it's a journey. We're constantly changing.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm. And that means we're constantly having to ask again and again, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Because who I am today is different than I was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And every day is a new day, and every day is an opportunity to do something new.
Yeah. And to discover something about yourself.
Exactly. If you're constantly learning,
Mm-hmm.
you can be constantly learning about who you really are or what you can really aspire to be.
Yeah. So there's healing. There's what was the second one?
The second one is creation.
That's right. Okay.
Right?
So healing, creating, discovering.
And the final one is experiencing.
Oh.
Yeah, because do you want to experience inner peace? Do you want to experience a deeper connection, right, with your heart?
Mm.
Or you want to take it to the spiritual dimension with your soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with other souls in the universe, right? Why are we here? Why am I here?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's that's a big one to really tackle in therapy is purpose.
Yes.
It's just I can't get around it. It's you have to lean into purpose. And I mean, I've mentioned this too on the podcast, like the fact that you were born, the odds of that are 1 in 400 billion. 400 billion. So, you can, hopefully you have an entire lifetime of healing, discovering, creating, and experiencing that purpose.
Mm-hmm. There's a great Mark Twain quote that I love.
Oh, yeah, he's a goodie.
Mm-hmm. And it goes something like this: the two most important days in your life are when you were born and the day you find out why.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's that awakening, there's, it's kind of funny because when my wife and I were talking this morning, we were talking about how, some people are just surviving and then others are thriving. And I think that's that connection of, being here and kind of existing versus, really pursuing a passion and discovering that. That's why you're here, people.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where that sense of meaning and purpose
Oh, yeah.
really come together.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it doesn't really matter where you start with why you meditate, because over the course of time, and we talked about this the last time, is that the most important thing is to be consistent. And by consistent, I really do mean every day.
Yeah.
And I think of it as brushing your teeth. Anything that you do every day that becomes a habit. The real benefit in meditation is the time you spend in meditation that day, but the benefits extend throughout the day. So when you think about on days you meditate and how the day goes versus days you don't meditate,
yeah,
and what happens, right?
Yeah.
Is there a difference? And that's what kept me coming back.
Okay.
And I started out really with a focus on healing, but over time, as my meditation practice broadened and deepened, I really did get to the deeper questions of the experience of learning about myself and of experiencing peace. It doesn't happen overnight.
Right. Well, I would maybe even conceptualize it as a relationship.
It's a relationship with your inner self.
Yeah.
Your inner child. Right.
Yeah. Because like one of my favorite sort of therapeutic strategies or interventions is called Gestalt therapy, and it's the mantra of I, thou, what and how here and now. Yeah, I love that. And it's so interesting from an outsider to watch someone have like to have a conversation with themselves out loud. And then I'm sort of observing that. And then after I'm like, so how was that? And like most of them say, oh, it's so weird. And I'm like, I bet it's weird because you don't do that. Like I shouldn't say you, but like we rarely talk with ourselves in in like a therapeutic way or in a kind way.
In a kind way,
Yeah.
And in meditation, we are quieting our inner critic
Hmm.
more often than not, right?
Yeah.
Right? And our self-doubts. And one of my favorite kind of go-to mantras, just in plain English, is "Today I begin again."
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that very empowering?
Yo, yeah. It makes me think of that nursery rhyme, Michael Finnegan, Begin Again. You don't know that one? It's my name is Michael Finnegan, Begin Again. Gosh, how did that go again? The whiskers on my chin again. They fell out and then grew in again. Poor old Michael Finnegan, begin again. Or something like that. Oh, too funny.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. And so, as we talk about all of the reasons, a very rich meditation practice could include all of those elements. And when I go back to saying that we're going inside, we're discovering the inner wisdom, and the wisdom isn't so much about, uh, the wisdom isn't so much about knowing more; it's about knowing deeper.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it just keeping on digging in,
Yes. Mhm. Digging deeper,
Yeah.
right? Not digging a hole, but just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just digging deeper.
Hmm. Sort of like a newfound insight, and then you go to the next level, and then a newfound insight, and then you go to the next level.
Mhm. And then the question is, in between, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I imagine there's a sense of applying it and vibing it,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say just being it,
Yeah.
right? It's not doing it, it's being, embodying,
Yeah.
right? We talked a little bit about that last time with our gratitude practice. It's about giving and receiving gratitude. It's about living from a heart of gratitude. It's about just simply embodying
Mm.
gratitude.
Yeah. And back to that energy, like people will begin to notice it within you.
Mhm. There's another saying out there I really like is the highest frequency always wins,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah.
So when you talk about raising your vibration with gratitude, raising your vibration with authenticity, with love in your heart,
Hmm.
right? The highest frequency in the room always wins.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
It is good.
Yeah.
It is good.
So those are some of the reasons why people meditate. And then, if you're interested, there are probably 4 basic types of different styles of meditation, but those can be branched out into almost 20 different types of meditation. So, for example, at a very high level, there's mind body meditations where you're doing body scans. People wear Apple Watches or Aura Rings and they get biofeedback so they can understand, right?
Yeah.
In doing a body scan,
Okay.
how long it takes to actually start to calm down your breathing,
Yeah.
right? And lower your blood pressure, for example,
Yeah.
right? Then there are visualization meditations, and there are a lot of different techniques because you can be manifesting something that is your deepest desire. You can be future pacing about who you want to be or where you want to be, right?
Hmm.
5 years from now. And there are some great energy meditations. Sometimes it revolves around the chakras, the 7 energy centers in your body. Sometimes it's an energy exchange,
Hmm.
right? Taking in energy from maybe Mother Earth, taking in energy from the universe,
Hmm.
and breathing out and releasing energy that no longer serves you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of different types of energy meditation. And then there's all the sensory meditations, whether you do yoga with mudras, or sensory could be as simple as I had a great experience with a sensory meditation where I was given a chocolate covered strawberry and asked to meditate on that chocolate covered strawberry.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Count me in.
Can you smell it? Can you taste it? Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay. What are all the different ways that in your senses, right?
Yep.
You can
Taste, smell, sight, hearing,
exactly.
touch.
And this is a great opportunity for me to say that the senses are very important. So one of the things I do is I look for different meditation teachers. The first screen I have is their voice. Does the voice resonate with me? Right? And if it doesn't resonate with me, I just move on.
Yeah.
Because
that's okay.
Totally okay. It's all up to the individual, and different voices resonate differently with different people. And it's all good.
Well, it's such a powerful tool that we can use, whether it's with leadership, with parenting, with, communicating with others. If you can sort of have a calm, well modulated tone, it does take practice.
It does, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like any skill. It does take practice.
Sure.
Another type of meditation is a walking meditation. I don't know if you've ever walked a labyrinth, and we're lucky to have several labyrinths in our area, but walking meditations in labyrinths are terrific.
Oh, yeah.
Putting on headphones when you're out in nature and just walking a trail.
Yeah.
Perfect way and
just
time.
Pay attention to your surroundings, though.
Yes. Yeah. Look where you're walking.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. There are people who I know go out and will sit by a tree and get in touch with the stillness of the tree, just being there.
Yeah.
Right?
I usually feel that way when I'm out on a boat.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just lose track of everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love that. So just like the real sort of practice with here is with your senses, right?
Yes. All of the senses.
Yeah.
And, there are meditations that really combine, like guided meditations often will have music in the background. The meditation teacher may actually be teaching for a portion of the meditation.
Yeah.
And then
I like those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the ones where they don't start with the breathing right away. They sort of just like allow you to sort of understand what the meditation's going to be about, and then they go into like the sort of like a prequel, Yeah.
And that's really the kind of gravitation, that's the kind of meditation I gravitate towards, because I love to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm learning from all these teachers, right? And then I'm taking what I'm learning and taking it inside of me, right? To go deeper.
Yeah, I've been practicing, or you would be happy to hear. I've been sort of experimenting a little bit with people to sit with them, do a meditation together, and then reflect after it, and just kind of have like an open discussion on what stood out to them. What did they like about it? What did they not like about it? Just to kind of spend time sort of exploring different types of meditation.
And different people will hear.
Oh, yeah. 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 That's that's been fun. And then also just the various topics that people kind of want to meditate on.
Yes. And I'll bring up Insight Timer here because I think that's a good place to say, there are free apps out there, and Insight Timer is probably the most used app out there. They have something like 20,000 teachers on Insight Timer. Some of them are spiritual, some of them are religious, some of them are secular, right? They have 300,000 titles to talk about the 300,000 topics.
Yeah, that's a massive search engine. And I've been really kind of testing and playing around with all the different keywords, and I mean everything from ADD to relationships to self-worth. You can pretty much find all. I haven't not found one yet. So,
Right. And
yeah.
one of the things that I do as I grow my meditation practice and integrate that into my leadership courses is I create playlists. So I will have a playlist, for example, on gratitude
Mm.
on Insight Timer under my name,
Mm-hmm.
and that will include a meditation on gratitude by me, but it will also include meditations on gratitude from a range of teachers that I've explored that give people a sense of if they're interested in exploring that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, these are some teachers they might want to check out and hear specifically of the tracks. And I really try to do, some will be totally music, some will be guided meditations, some actually may be courses. So the playlists are also.
Oh, yeah. And that's a good point of, it can, I don't want to say overwhelming, but there's just so much on there. It's nice to start, setting up your own playlist that's unique to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And Insight Timer makes it very easy to bookmark.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can do that. So just to round out a sense of other types of meditations, there's spiritual meditations. There's a strong Christian tradition of Lectio Divina where you read a particular
Verse.
scripture,
Okay.
a verse or a psalm, and you read it. Then you reflect on it. Then you will meditate and discern on it, and then you read it again, and then you read it again, and you see if something else
Yeah.
jumps out at you. So there's a very strong, spiritual component, and it's not just in the Christian tradition, obviously.
Right.
That's another type. And then there are other meditations, types of meditations. There are mantra meditations. There are mindfulness meditations. There is transcendental meditation, right? They're all different styles and they land differently with different people. I tried transcendental meditation, was trained in it and tried it for a while, and it just didn't seem to stick with me.
Okay.
But however, there are many people, I think Jerry Seinfeld and Steve Jobs were very, very into transcendental meditation. So,
yeah, Howard Stern.
Howard Stern as well.
Yeah, he talks a lot about that.
Yep. So again, you find the you find the voice, you find the style.
Yeah, it sounds like there's room for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I imagine there's even ones specifically for children and teenagers, or.
Oh yes, there are meditation teachers that specialize in bedtime meditations for little children.
Oh, okay,
right?
cool.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah,
and then there are meditations for teenagers, particularly around stress and around topics like I'm not good enough.
Okay.
Or on how to deal with bullies.
Self-worth,
absolutely.
Trying to navigate like a social reality, because it's hard for that age.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh, and many of these teachers, I didn't even know what meditation was, to be honest, until about 20 years ago.
It's definitely not something that is integrated into the mainstream, right?
Well, I don't think it's taught in high school.
Okay. Yeah.
However, I do think meditation is becoming mainstream because the Cleveland Clinic is recommending it. Local chiropractors are recommending it. Yeah. Doctors are recommending it.
It's finally catching the awareness.
Mm-hmm. The awareness. And I've run meditation classes at my church. So
nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So let's say, what are we going to do with meditation?
Okay.
And I don't want to get real scientific here, but I think most people are familiar with the fight, flight, or freeze.
Oh, yes.
Right? And that there are clearly things that happen in your body when you're in fight or flight. And the benefit of meditation is that you don't fight the emotion. You don't fight the fear. You become a witness to it and you observe it.
Yeah.
And then you figure out how you're going to move from reacting to responding as your best self.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And there are people who have acronyms. For example, my meditation certification comes from David G., and his is SODA. Reach for a can of soda, which means stop, observe, detach, right, from the emotion, and then awaken to who it is, right? That what would you do what would you do? What would you say if you were responding from your best self as opposed to reacting to somebody who just punched one of your buttons?
Yeah.
Okay. There's an acronym out there, RAIN. So it's like pick a word that you can remember the best. RAIN is recognize, accept, investigate, and nurture, right? So when you're awakening in one of the words of soda, it's the same thing as nurturing, because you're loving yourself, you're being compassionate with yourself, you're tapping into what would really be a good thing.
Yeah, and sort of helping yourself get out of that fight, flight, or freeze.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's the trick, is how.
Right.
And you can say meditation is part of the how, but in some ways it's even simpler. It's the breath. It all comes back. Actually, the breath is the key to in meditation, and the breath is absolutely key in moving from flight, fight, or freeze into responding. And that's really where the magic
Yeah.
happens.
Well, tell me more.
Sure. There are so many different types of breathing. My meditation teacher from the David G. Meditation Academy has a course, a 21-day course. Come breathe with me, come heal with me. And it takes you through an amazing number of types of breath. I think the one that people are most familiar with is something called box breathing. And I like it because you can think of it visually, where you just start at the top of the box and breathe in on the count of 4.
Okay.
Then you pause on the count of 4. Then you breathe out on the count of 4. And you pause for the count of 4.
Going back up.
Up.
Okay.
Okay. So you're just drawing a box. So you can go across breathing in. Yeah, and you can start the box wherever you want to.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, just for like the audio audience, we'll start in like the top right corner.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. If you start in the top, I'm dyslexic. Okay. I'm starting in the top left corner. You're starting in the top right corner.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it depends on whichever way you're visualizing it.
But when you breathe in, it's on the count of 4. You pause on the count of 4. You breathe out on the count of 4. And then you hold for the count of 4.
Okay.
Right? So it really smooths out your breathing.
Mm-hmm.
There's another breathing technique called 4-7-8. And in that one, you breathe in on the count of 4.
Okay.
You hold for the count of 7. Then you release on the count of 8. And then you pause. And the magic of that particular breathing technique is that you are breathing in only, let's just try it.
Okay.
Let's breathe in on 4.
Okay.
So we breathe in 2, 3, 4. Now hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and release 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that's hard.
It is.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like what would you recommend as the very first like introduction? Just paying attention to your breathing in and out. Like I think it's really nice that there's a lot of sort of guided breathing, but to be honest, like I've never thought about breathing.
Well, what you can notice is that when you're stressed, your breathing will be very shallow.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the practice is to breathe down in your belly.
And
okay.
intentionally.
Intentionally.
Yeah.
So if you breathe in through the nose, You want to visualize that breath coming in through the nose and feel how cool it is. Then it moves down through your throat, through
Hmm.
your heart center, and all the way to the bottom of your belly. When you breathe out, it comes up from the belly, through the heart, through the throat, and out, let's say out through the mouth. And if you breathe in, cool air, you breathe out, it's warmer air. Look
Yeah.
what your body has done to that.
Yeah. And so for someone who really doesn't practice breathing, that's just a good kind of way to start, is just to really intentionally breathe just for the sake of breathing. You know, I guess in like another way of saying it, we do this naturally. We don't really think about breathing, hopefully. And when you try to do it intentionally, then you can start working on some of the more advanced exercises of breathing.
Yes. And again, practice is key.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I really recommend with my clients is that set different times or activities during the day when you will breathe intentionally. Maybe just 5 breaths.
Okay. Yeah.
Just 5 breaths, deep diaphragmatic breaths. And then do it again before lunch. I started a practice that I would do my breathing every time I got in the car to go to an appointment.
There you go.
Okay. Another practice is make sure that you do your deep diaphragmatic breathing when you come home from work before you enter the house
Okay.
to reset your mind.
To reset. So, yeah.
And do it again when before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
But if you can find 5 times during the day to take 5 deep, intentional diaphragmatic breaths, you are teaching your body how to breathe so that it relaxes you, and you'll start to notice, right?
Yeah. That's good advice, I think, for someone that's wanting to start this. It makes me think too. I mean, we all know that cigarettes are bad for you. They're not good. But one of the interesting things that I found out as to why they're so addicting is the breathing. It's like you don't puff on a cigarette real shortly. You take these long drags in and long drags out. And I've seen people quit smoking by practicing breathing and working on that. So yeah.
Excellent. Yes. And then also notice when you're stressed that your breath becomes very shallow. I'll notice if I'm in a long meeting and I take a sip of water and then I start to kind of gag a little bit. Well, oh, that's my cue that my breath has gotten very shallow.
Yeah.
I'm totally stressed out for sitting.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's wrap this meeting up.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a thing.
So pick out 5 times
Okay.
during the day where you can just spend time to take 5 deep breaths. How
Yeah.
long does that take, right?
I think I'm going to start with that.
Okay.
I think I'm going to start doing that this week.
You're right. And start something that's simple that you can make a regular practice of every single day.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So maybe this will be a good segue into a short meditation that I would call a meditation on calm.
That sounds perfect. And yeah, we'll do this meditation and we'll write it out.
Okay. Excellent, Wilson. This is a very short meditation on calm. And it really refers to a meditation that helps us trigger the relaxation response as well as to gradually and gently quiet our minds. I know we have 80,000 thoughts a day, so we never totally go quiet, but it's just a practice that will hopefully help us gently and gradually quiet our minds. And I'd like to start with a quote by the wonderful Viktor Frankl. I'm sure you know that he was a prisoner in the concentration camps during World War II and survived and went on to become a very famous psychologist as well as an author. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, one of my very, very favorite books. And in there, one of his famous lines is, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom. Wow. So what does he mean by space? Between stimulus and response, there is a space. Well, I think we can just simply go to our breath and realize that between breathing in and breathing out, that is the space. That is the space that we have every time we breathe in and every time we breathe out. And when somebody inadvertently or deliberately pushes one of my buttons, the first thing I do is take a deep breath in and I hold the space. And in that space, I choose how to respond and respond the way I would see my very best self respond. And so that's what we mean between reacting and responding. It's just that space. People don't see you take the breath, right? But you take the breath, it's intentional. And as Viktor Frankl says, in our response lies our growth and freedom. That's powerful, just absolutely powerful. And it's one of the reasons why I come back and say practicing deep diaphragmatic breaths at least 5 times a day. So we teach ourselves what it means to trigger the relaxation response in our body. Then we know what it feels like when we are able to take a deep breath in. Our mind-body actually is trained to respond as opposed to react. So let's get comfortable and settle in. You know, everybody from the David G. Meditation Academy says comfort is queen. And I really mean that. I know I've gotten people to figure out that meditating in the morning will be okay if they have a cup of coffee first, or if they have a cup of coffee when they start. What I find is that when I sit down to meditate and I have my coffee, well, over time, my coffee tends to get cold. But just do whatever you want to do. Many people call it meditate in bed before they get out of bed in the morning. And we call it meditation, right? How about that? So whatever makes you feel comfortable, your favorite chair in your meditation room or your favorite space or in bed. And I recommend turning off all the electronics unless you're listening to a meditation on Insight Timer, when you can quiet your phone and just listen with headphones or no headphones to a meditation. So let us take a long, deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Let's make a sigh. Just let it all out. Let's do that again. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's breathe in and witness our breath. Witness our breath and the cool air coming through our nostrils. Observe it coming down through our windpipes, going down through our heart center and all the way down into our belly. And then as we exhale, coming up, coming up and getting all the air out of our lungs and up out of our mouth. And feel how warm that breath is. Our body has changed. The air we breathe, right? And in that space between the in-breath and the out-breath lies our opportunity for growth and for freedom. So let's go a little bit deeper. Let's place our hand on our heart. This is our center of compassion, our center of kindness, our center of peace, and our center of forgiveness. It's your love center. And feel the breath of the universe when you breathe in come into your heart. And as you exhale, we're going to feel and release some weight that we may have been holding on to that may have been holding us back, some baggage, if you will. So be with me as we breathe. Breathe in. Let us breathe in the divine love of the universe and feel that in our heart. And let us breathe out a grievance and just pick a grievance that you've been carrying around in your heart. Maybe it's small, just a little something that bothers you. Somebody left a sock on the floor when they shouldn't have. But maybe it's much deeper. Maybe it's grief and the loss of a loved one or the pain of a friend. So let us again breathe in and feel the divine love of the universe. Let us be grateful for the life and for our breath. And let us breathe out a grievance. Let's try that another time. Let us breathe in the healing energy. And the greatest healing energy in the entire universe is love. So let us breathe in the healing energy of love and breathe out a grievance. Let us breathe in the healing energy of love and release a weight. Some rocks in our backpack that we've been carrying around. Some regrets. Some dark clouds. Let us breathe in healing energy and let us release a weight that we have been carrying around. Let us breathe in gratitude. Gratitude for our loved ones. Gratitude for the special places and things that we're honored to enjoy. Even the simple things like your cup of coffee in the morning or running water or heat in the house. And let us breathe in gratitude and release constriction. Release the tightness in our foot. Release the tension in our jaw. Wiggle your ears if you can and smile. Release. Let us breathe in light and that wonderful, wonderful warmth of light. And let us breathe out the darkness and all of the clouds around us. Let us breathe in strength. Let us breathe in the power and the strength of love in our heart and breathe out the weakness of the negative emotions, whether that be envy, whether that be anger. Let us breathe in this present moment, this sacred, precious, present moment. Breathe in and breathe out the past. Breathe out the past and things we can't change and any regrets that we have. Breathe in the sacred, precious, present moment and release the past. Let's breathe in again the sacred, precious moment and release the future, the worries, all the what ifs that are outside of our control. Breathe in this sacred, precious moment and release the future. Let us breathe in love and release the loneliness. Let us breathe in the silence. And release our inner critics and our chatter. Let us simply breathe in and relax into the comfort that we feel in this sacred, precious moment. And release any discomfort in our lower back, around our temples, in our eyes. Let us breathe in again the power of love and release our fears. Let us breathe in trust, the trust in our intuition, the trust that we really do know what the quote right thing for us to do is, and release our fears. So let us just stay with this practice for a moment and continue using our breath to transform ourselves from the inside out. Breathe in something that nourishes you, and breathe out something that holds you back or constricts your heart. And just stay as I allow you the space to breathe in what nourishes you and breathe out what holds you back. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. So as we take just a few more long, slow, deep breaths, let's let the peace and the stillness in our hearts settle in. Let's celebrate the divine love that lives in us and the wisdom of the universe. Let us celebrate ourselves for giving ourselves this precious time to release what no longer serves us. And I invite you, as you gently open your eyes and very gently start to come out of this meditation, and take your hands and place them together over your heart. And I would like to say namaste. I honor the divine light in you that is also within me. And when you are in that place and I am in that space, we are one. Namaste. And in the course of your day and your week, whenever you start to feel separate or alone or holding on to too much baggage, remind yourself of this place, this space where you were just a few seconds ago, and feel the moment of peace in your heart and in every cell of your body in this sacred, precious moment. Namaste, and thank you, and have a splendiferous day.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode of The Wellness Project. I hope today's conversation gave you something to think about, something to feel, or maybe even something to change. If you found value in this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, or leave a review. It helps more people join the conversation. And if you have thoughts, questions, or a topic you'd love to hear about, go ahead and reach out. It's thewellnessprojectllc@gmail.com. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay curious, and keep growing. This is Wilson signing off. See you in the next one. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for therapy. If you are experiencing mental distress, please seek professional help. If you are considering therapy or in the market for a different mental health therapist, you should contact Cornerstone Behavioral Health. At Cornerstone Behavioral Health, the goal is to be a global voice for trauma recovery. They are a 100% telehealth agency providing mental health counseling and medication management for adults in Ohio. That's right, they offer a free consultation and accept all major insurance companies or private pay. If you go to cornerstonebehavioralhealth.org and click on the Services tab, you can read the bios of the therapists and even request one of them specifically to talk more about your mental health needs. To learn more about Cornerstone Behavioral Health, just visit cornerstonebehavioralhealth.org to register for a free consultation and response within just 48 hours. Hope starts here. Today's podcast is brought to you by Jet Express, the fastest and most luxurious way to travel to Put-in Bay, Kelly's Island, and Cedar Point. Why waste time getting to your destination? With Jet Express, you'll ride in style and comfort, docking right in the heart of the action. Their fleet of 4 ocean-approved, water jet-propelled catamarans guarantees the smoothest ride on Lake Erie. Jet Express isn't just a ferry service. It's a premier, family-oriented travel attraction in Ohio, offering group discounts and private charters that cater to your every need, ensuring your journey is as enjoyable as the destination. Founded in 1988, Jet Express has always prioritized outstanding customer service and fast, safe passage. They continue to evolve, providing top-notch services that you can rely on. Ready for your first-class ride to Put in Bay? Contact Jet Express at 800-245-1538, email them at fast@jetexpress.com, or visit jetexpress.com to learn more and book your trip today. Jet Express, making your journey as exciting as the destination. Welcome aboard.